everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. Happy New Year to everyone. I wanted to come on real quick and just share with you guys a quick craft project that I did post our Florida holiday family vacation. And this is it. This is the frame that I decorated up with seashells that we found, and I supplemented with some shells from the Dollar Tree. So first I took an inexpensive plain black frame that I had in my stash from IKEA, I believe, and I just did a heavy coat of gesso. I was hoping that with one coat I would get good enough coverage, but I ended up actually having to do 2 coats. So I've just sped this up really quick, and I'm not taking great care to, get a really smooth coating or anything like that, because I know the vast majority of the frame is going to get covered up, but I did want to make sure that I got all the nooks and crannies and the edges. So I did 2 coats, waiting for each coat to dry before doing the next, and then the last coat is a plain coat of acrylic paint. The paint that I used, I had picked up at Walmart, I believe, for a couple of bucks. It's really inexpensive, but it does give a kind of more finished look to the paint overall, rather than the kind of more gritty, grainy look of the gesso. Then I tried to lay out how I wanted the shells. This was one layout, and this is actually closer to the final layout, but I wanted to show you that you just take some time kind of fiddling around. This is the actual package of the shells that I picked up at the Dollar Tree to supplement the ones that we had found along the beach. And I'm removing all of the shells, but kind of putting them around the frame where I think they're going to be placed. And I'm using E6000 glue. It's a wet glue that's permanent, really, really solid. And sometimes people think that, because this glue is carcinogenic, you have to wear gloves. I actually found that it's not that big a deal for me, because I do the kind of gluing down and then really thoroughly wash my hands with soap and water. But if you have any concerns, please use some like rubber gloves before you use this glue. It takes a little while to set, so I actually like that because it gives me some play time, and so I can move the pieces around a little bit, and it dries kind of clear, a little bit of a sheen there, but I much prefer this to using hot glue for things that I know I want to be really permanently secured. And I'm just making sure I get a good bead of it around any part of the shell that is going to be affixed directly to that wood frame that I've painted up. And now I'm laying out the shells again, just making sure that I've spaced it correctly. I don't know if you noticed, but when I had done this layout, thinking, that's the final layout, on the top row there, I had 2 smaller kind of orangey, smaller shells, and I removed them because I thought that it was a little too crowded. So, until you fully glue this down and it sets, you have a lot of wiggle room kind of to move the shells around. And I'm trying to make everything kind of look symmetrical from the center all the way around. So the left and the right kind of mirror each other. They're not exact matches, obviously, because these are shells. They're not identical. They're not manufactured. They're real shells. So they're going to have some variation, but I really like that natural look. And I like how I'm able to mirror kind of the shells that are close enough to each other to kind of look like they're kind of a book kind of open, the same on either side. And these are actually little shards of shells. It's a bag that I had gotten, I think, from like a $3 grab bag at Michael's, but they're like shards that you would use to fill up vases for weighing down the bottom of a vase before you put in a floral arrangement. And I thought I could fill in these kind of tiny nooks and crannies with these little tiny shell shards. It has a pearlescent look to it. Again, it's natural. All the pieces are different shapes. And I'm not going to keep you watching me fill in all the nooks and crannies. You'll see those, the finished kind of look in the final pictures that I'll share with you guys. But needless to say, I continued using E6000 and putting in these tiny little shell shards, as it were, or vase filler into all of the nooks and crannies between each of the full-size shells. Now, the last shell that I wanted to put in place is this kind of burgundy mottled shell that we also found along the beach. And I decided to stack that on top to be the centerpiece. And this is the finished frame that I have used to frame up the one family picture that we got all of us in. I've blurred out the rest of the family, but you can see that finished shell frame came out, and this will be my final holiday season gift to my mom and dad. I hope you enjoyed this quick process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you all are having a wonderful crafty day.